If Eala, can keep doing well with her tennis, who knows? The sky's the limit on the court, off the court.
Is she the biggest draw in women's tennis right now in the world?
And then we have a big challenger after this in...
Indian Wells tournament has formally started its sessions today on March 4th. Even before any single ball got hit in the main bracket, a sharp tennis analyst blasted the WTA for completely overlooking Alex Eala and the massive 2 million Filipino supporters who have basically taken control of California. The playing surfaces, the spectator stands, the pathways. The biggest Filipino community anywhere in the entire United States has shown up at Indian Wells, and the excitement still has not reached its highest point yet. Eala stepped in as a seeded athlete for the very first time in her career, sitting at world number 31 with an automatic first-round pass already locked in. California is home to nearly 2 million Filipinos. This is not just some group of fans. This is a full cultural takeover of an entire tennis event. And right now, the WTA is ignoring the richest marketing treasure that exists in all of women's tennis, doing zero with it. A few days back, a panel of retired pro players on a hugely popular tennis podcast labeled her a total superstar. They openly asked if she pulls bigger crowds than Sabalenka and Goff, and the answer came straight away as yes. One compared her level of fame directly to Michael Jordan. Martina Navratilova, talking specifically before Indian Wells, stressed that it is really important to shield Eala from all the wild chaos that comes with this kind of spotlight. Tennis specialists are firing strong opinions left and right, while the WTA is still acting like this is just an ordinary Tuesday. If you have not hit subscribe yet, do it right now because this whole discussion is only going to grow louder from here onward. So what exactly is the WTA missing? And why does it actually matter way more than most fans understand? Melbourne had its Filipino crowd. Dubai had Filipino workers and residents spread across the UAE. Abu Dhabi followed the exact same pattern. Every single venue delivered amazing attendance, unbelievable noise, and an electric atmosphere. But none of those cities had what California has right in its own backyard at this moment. This is home soil for nearly 2 million people who have been counting down to this exact tournament ever since Eala's big Miami breakthrough last year put her on the world stage. Indian Wells is not some faraway place they are flying into from the other side of the planet. It sits within easy driving distance from neighborhoods that have followed her ranking climb, her match results, and her draw placement with the kind of intense focus that most sports leagues would spend billions trying to create on purpose. A tennis expert called this out publicly just days ago, pointing straight at the fact that the WTA has been handed something no marketing budget on earth could ever build, and their only answer has been total silence. The signs of that silence did not begin at Indian Wells. They started back in January in Melbourne, and the situation only became worse after that. On January 19th, the Australian Open placed Eala on Court 6, a medium-sized outside court with space for roughly 1,000 people. What happened next was pure chaos. The line of Filipino fans outside Melbourne Park stretched all the way back toward Rod Laver Arena. Hundreds were turned away at the gates before even 1 point was played. Those who could not get inside settled into outdoor viewing zones and watched on giant screens. Inside Court 6, there was not one empty seat, not a single gap along the side ledge, and not one free spot at the bar overlooking the court. Philippine flags filled the stands in every direction. Chants of "Let's go Alex" rang out so loudly that the umpire had to keep calling for quiet during the match. Eala's opponent that day was Alicia Parks, ranked number 99 at the time. Parks admitted after the match that the atmosphere really shook her in the first set. She told reporters she had to keep reminding herself to stay focused because the noise was messing with her concentration. Parks eventually won 0-6, 6-3, 6-2 after getting completely shut out in the opening set in front of that wall of sound. A well-known tennis coach stated publicly after the match that the organizers should have seen this coming days earlier. Eala was already getting mobbed by crowds during her practice sessions before the tournament had even started. That was a clear, recorded warning sign, and yet the organizers still put her on a court built for only 1,000 people. One sports journalist put it plainly on social media that day. Putting Eala on Court 6 was just That was January. The WTA watched it happen. Then in February, they somehow made the mistake even bigger. Through the second and third rounds of the Dubai Tennis Championships, Eala had been finishing on center court as the last match of the night. That setup worked perfectly. Filipino fans arrived early, watched the earlier matches, and the stadium was already packed solid by the time she walked on court. Other players gained from it. The tournament gained from it. Then came the quarterfinals, Eala against Goff, and the WTA switched her to open the night session instead of closing it. Filipino fans watching from home are 4 hours ahead of Dubai time. A 7 p.m. Dubai night session means is already 11 p.m. in Manila. If Eala's match went past 2 hours, fans back home were still watching after 1 a.m. But beyond the timing problem, there was a crowd impact that any smart scheduler should have spotted right away. The match scheduled right after Eala's quarterfinal was Alina Svitolina against Antonia Ruzic. The moment Eala walked off that court, the huge majority of that packed stadium was going to leave with her. A former world number 3 and multiple WTA 1000 champion like Svitolina would then be playing in front of a half-empty arena. Not because people lack respect for her, but because the WTA had built the entire evening's crowd around one player and then scheduled that player first. The difference from the previous round made it even more obvious. In the third round, Goff and Mertens played a 3-set battle before Eala took the court. That match had a full, loud stadium because the Filipino fans had shown up early and stayed. Goff stepped up to the microphone after winning and spoke directly to the crowd. "I know you guys are probably here for Alex, so I'm sorry to make you wait." The world number 4 was openly telling a packed arena that the fans had not come to watch her. That clip went viral instantly across every tennis platform online. Then after beating Eala 6-0, 6-2 in the quarterfinal, Goff said something the WTA should have paid very close attention to. "I'd like to thank Alex for bringing a new demographic to the sport. I really appreciate it." A top 4 player publicly crediting a player still outside the top 30 for growing the sport. That is not a normal post-match comment. That is a statement about what is really happening in tennis right now. The WTA's official response to all of it? Nothing. Just days before Indian Wells opened, on the Nothing Major podcast, former professional players had a conversation the WTA's marketing department needs to watch in full. The main question was straight to the point. Is Alex Eala the biggest draw in women's tennis right now? Bigger than Sabalenka? Bigger than Goff? The answer was an immediate yes. No hesitation. No maybe. Just yes. One former player compared her crowd scenes to the effect Joel Fana had on the men's side in Miami last year. Every court at the Australian Open was standing room only. Dubai was standing room only. Tournament directors are now being forced to put her on center court simply because her crowds cannot fit anywhere smaller. Something that does not normally happen with the 31st ranked player in the world. John Isner said a lot of people have badly misjudged how large the Filipino market actually is. Sam Querrey added that if Eala wins a Grand Slam, it will be one of the biggest moments in the entire sports world. She has already been on the cover of Vogue without a top 10 ranking and without a Grand Slam trophy. Kim Clijsters compared her fame to Michael Jordan. Martina Navratilova said she needs protecting from the craziness. Rafael Nadal spoke out in her support after she faced online abuse following her Australian Open loss. These are not fringe opinions. Every respected voice in tennis is saying the exact same thing. The WTA has had 2 clear chances to get this right, the Australian Open and Dubai. Both times the response came after the fact, reactive instead of planned. Indian Wells is a third opportunity, and by far the highest stakes one. This is not supporters flying in from Manila. This is the largest Filipino community in the United States, already within driving distance of the venue. The WTA is sitting on a cultural force that is creating sold-out venues, viral moments, and global attention, all built around a 20-year-old who still has no WTA 1000 title, no top 10 ranking, and no Grand Slam trophy. When all that finally happens, and the question is when, not if, what the WTA failed to build around during this window will be one of the most talked about missed opportunities in women's sports marketing history. The 2 million Filipino army has taken over California. Indian Wells started today, and the WTA still has not shown up with any plan. Drop your take in the comments, whether you think the WTA is genuinely dropping the ball, or whether you think this criticism is overblown. And if you are not subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on the notification bell, because as long as Alex Eala is in this draw, this channel will be here covering every development the moment it happens.